Hello and welcome back to this live read along. So we just read chapter 9 a few minutes ago. So we are back live now for reading for the reading of chapter 10. So this is the second live reading for tonight and last live reading. That was an exception, a double live reading today, as I was not able to do the live reading on Wednesday. I usually plan to read a chapter each day, but it wasn't possible this week. So we are going to read chapter 10 now. We are going to see if people are rejoining. So I didn't expect that it would take a little bit of time for the video to download. So I hope people will be able to join again. We'll see. We'll see. In the meantime, I'm going to do a quick recap because I don't want to go too much overtime. It's already 6:30 and I was meant to be live at 6, and the downloading of my first live took a little bit more time. So now I'm running a little bit late. So I'm going to straight catch up with, doing a quick recap of the book. So we are in our last day of this second week of reading Little Women. So this is the story of 4 sisters living in America. This is an American story based in it takes place based in America and is taking place in the 18th century at the time of the Civil War. So the dad of the 4 sisters is at war and they have to take care of the house themselves and try to make a living and survive without their dad's income. And they have to be independent women and earn the money, bring the money into the house. They have this friend there. They are getting friends. They're getting to know this friend, this neighbor, this boy who is living with his grandfather, called Laurie, and he's living with his grandfather because his parents have died when he was very young, and he is looked after by his dad, his granddad, and he's very lonely, and he's going to meet Joe more specifically, because they're more or less the same age, and they're going to get along very well together, and he's going to start spending time with Joe and her sisters, and a very strong friendship is going to begin. And we also learn about different moments in life when you have a passage or chapter in which we talk about the relationship between the sisters. So obviously they love each other, but sometimes, like brothers and sisters do. They don't always get along, and sometimes there are some friction. And this is chapter 6, Amy in Trouble, in which Amy is doing something really mean and nasty to her sister, because Joe did not want her to join them to the theater, and Amy was really crossed about it and very angry. So she, in revenge to this, she burned Joe's notebook, in which she used to write all her stories and her plays, all the creative writing that she does. And Joe is going to be very mad at her and would not want to forgive her. And there, at some point, one day, Amy is ice skating with Joe and Dory, and at some point she's going to fall through the ice, and she is going to be rescued by, sorry, my hair. She's going to be rescued by Laurie, because Joe is going to be very scared and shocked to see her sister falling into the water. Hi, Katie. Welcome back. I'm so happy you were able to join again. I'm sorry. I did not think. I thought that I completely forgot that I needed to wait for the Zoom, because I'm recording on Zoom. So I needed to wait for the Zoom video to download, and it took a little bit of time. So more time than I anticipated. I know it takes a little bit, about 5 to 10 minutes. And I forgot to mention, to be more specific. I said, "Oh, I'll see you in a minute," and I completely forgot that it would take more than a minute to be live again. So sorry for making you wait a little bit more. So I'm doing this quick recap of the chapters, because I don't want to do too overtime and be here until 8 o'clock. So especially it's Friday, and this is the end of the week. No problem. Oh, okay. So that was about Amy and Joe's little friction. And after that, we have a little event with Meg, in which she is invited at the Moffat's house, and she's just have this one dress, and her friend Annie Moffat is going to lend her this beautiful, amazing dress to kind of I I think if I don't know if it's really because she wants to be a nice person, or there is something, another intention behind Annie's uh way of the fact that she's lending her the dress. If it's not about, I think there's a little bit of this, the fact that she doesn't want her friend, I don't know, she doesn't want Meg to kind of downgrade the party, you see, because she can't afford a very fancy dress. So Annie is going to lend her this dress so that she's not, she, um, so that it will feel like she is at the same rank as Annie Moffat and the whole party lot, so that she's not going to be like a stain on, a stain is like when you dirt yourself, there is a stain, so that she's not a stain in the party, she doesn't look like she. Yeah, I don't know if it's really genuine in the story. It doesn't expand that much on Annie's character, but I feel there is a sense of, it sounds nice, but it doesn't seem so accepted. Yes, you see what I mean? It feels like she doesn't accept Meg as she is, like a girl that needs to work to um to pay the bills or to help out her family, um and and has to work and cannot afford having those beautiful jewelries and dresses and having this nice hair. So it feels a little bit like she's doing charity kind of thing, and um not accepting the fact that yes, she's, yeah, absolutely, that she is just accepting her as she is at her party. It feels like she needs to dress up and be someone else to belong to that party. Yeah, there's a bit of that as well. So that was about chapter 7, and then chapter 8 is a nice one about the balancing working and playing and relaxing as well, having a good balance in life as well. Not just working or not just playing is not a good thing. And just a few minutes just earlier, we read chapter 9, Secrets, in which we learn about Jo's secret, because she has sent, or she presented 2 stories that she wrote to this newspaper that she wrote, and she presented those stories to this newspaper to be published. And here she is running home to read her story to her family, because she's so proud that it has been published. I think she hasn't been paid for those stories, because I reread the passage, and it says, I've left 2 of my stories. So I think that she just gave them for free. So of course the newspaper is going to be definitely, I mean, if they've published it, it means that it's good quality, enough good quality, and it's free, and they didn't have to pay her. So it's kind a good bargain for the newspaper. And we also learned a second secret, it's more secondary, is Laurie revealing that Meg is somehow, we don't really learn about that secret specifically, but it's suggested. that Meg is seeing someone. So let's see what is chapter 10 about. A telegram. Mrs. March, the girls, and Laurie were sitting together on a dull November afternoon. So it feels like a whole year, almost a whole year has passed, because now it's November afternoon again. When Hannah hurried into the room with a telegram, Mrs. March read it, then dropped it to the floor, her face white and her hands shaking. Joe picked up the telegram and read it to the others in a frightened voice. Mrs. March, your husband is very ill. Come at once. S. Hill, blank Hospital, Washington. Ooh. The girls moved close to their mother. All their happiness had disappeared in a moment. I shall go at once, said Mrs. March, but it may be too late. Oh, my children. For several minutes there was only the sound of crying. Then Hannah hurried away to get things ready for the long journey. Where is Laurie? Mrs. March asked. Here, said the boy. Oh, let me do something. Send a telegram and say that I'll come at once, said Mrs. March. The next train goes early in the morning. Now I must write a note to Aunt March. Joe, give me that pen and paper. Joe knew that the money for the journey must be borrowed from Aunt March, and she too wanted to do something, anything, to help her father. Laurie went off to take the note to Aunt March and to send the telegram. Joe went to fetch some things from the shops, and Amy and Meg helped their mother to get ready. Father will need good food and wine to help him get better, and there won't be much at the hospital, said Mrs. March. Beth, go and ask Mr. Lawrence for a couple of bottles of wine. I'm not too proud to beg for father. Mr. Lawrence came back with Beth. He offered to go with Mrs. March, but she wouldn't let the old gentleman make the long, tiring journey, although he could see that she would like to have somebody with her. He went away again, saying, I'll be back. Soon after, Meg saw Mr. Brooke by the door. I'm very sorry to hear your news, Miss March, he said gently. Mr. Lawrence and I think it will be a good idea if I travel with your mother. How kind you all are, said Meg. It will be so good to know there is someone to take care of mother. Thank you very much. She put out her hand and smiled gratefully up into his arm and up into his warm brown eyes. Laurie came back with a letter and money from Aunt March, but Joe did not return. It was late afternoon when she came walking in and gave her mother some money. That's to help father. That's to help make father comfortable and to bring him home, she said. $25? said Mrs. March. My dear, where did you get it? Jo took off her hat. Your hair! Oh, your hair! Your beautiful hair! Cried Amy. So Jo cut her hair to get the money. Old Joe's lovely, thick long hair was cut short. "Joe, how could you?" cried Meg. "My dear girl, there was no need for this," said Mrs. March. "She doesn't look like my Joe, but I love her dearly for doing it," said Beth, and began to cry. This is Jo here getting her hair cut. Look at this, so short. She's very brave. "Don't cry, Beth," said Jo. "I wanted to do something for father, and selling my hair was the only thing I could think of doing. I'll soon have a curly head again, which will be short and easy to keep tidy." She sold her hair. Can you believe? She's so I forgot the adjective, the opposite of being selfish, basically. Oh, hello, Language with Sammy. Welcome to this live reading. Yeah, she sold her hair. She is so caring about her family, and she wants to help so bad her family that she's ready to. She's not afraid. She's not afraid of cutting her hair or saying what she wants to say. She's just she's very bold and daring, you see. "Are you crying about father, Jo?" she asked. Oh, sorry. And easy to keep tidy. But later, when Amy and Beth were asleep and Meg was lying awake, she heard Jo crying. She's not that tough. Selfless. She's very selfless. I need to check. I wouldn't say selfless. There, there is another. I don't think we say selfless, but there is another word, meaning that you're someone always thinking about others before yourself. And I lost it. I don't have it. Never mind. I will find it tomorrow, definitely. Meg was lying awake and she heard Jo crying. "Are you crying about father, Jo?" she asked. "No, not now. It's my hair," cried Jo. "I'd do it again if I could, but I did love my hair, and the selfish bit of me is making me cry. Don't tell anyone. I'll be all right in the morning." It's very something that I don't know if it's about being the older sister, but it's this idea that she doesn't want to show her weakness, or she doesn't want to show her vulnerability, because it's not really about weakness. She doesn't want to show her feelings and her vulnerability in this particular, with the fact of giving away her hair and or selling out her hair, more specifically. She wants to keep the good face, she doesn't want to show her emotions. During the days after their mother and Mr. Brooke went away, Meg and Jo went back to their jobs. and Beth and Amy helped Hannah to keep the house tidy. Everyone tried very hard to be good and hard-working and helpful. News of their father came through, at first telling them he was dangerously ill, but then saying he was slowly getting better. So it seems like, and that's the end of chapter 10. So it feels like it's she did it for a good cause. She didn't do it for nothing. But sorry. But she she still had to sell her hair. So it was something big deal. So yeah, it's a very now this chapter is very it's again a serious, it feels like we come back to reality and the daily, yeah, and life, the hardship of life is coming back to them, and the little, the little things, or the little enjoyments that happened, or it feels like the story is alternating between moments of joy, little moments of joy and happiness, and everything is going their way, and suddenly, and other moments in which they have to make big decisions, or they have to go through hardship and hard or difficult situations in which they have to make difficult decisions. So that chapter is one of them. So yeah, that's what I will say about this chapter. We don't know much about the actual state of his dad. Doesn't say much. So, but it seems like he's recovering. So hopefully things will get better for him. We'll see. So yeah, so that was it for today and chapter 10. So this video is definitely much shorter. It's going to be much shorter than the previous one, definitely. But it was it's a nice and short, it's a very short chapter, I have to say, as well. So we are, yeah, going to stop here for today. And Kitty, I say see you tomorrow to you. I will see you tomorrow in our live Zoom meetup to discuss. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much. My pleasure. It was my pleasure. And it was so nice to have someone new in the chat as well. Who is it? Annika? That was Annika, her name? Yeah. Yes. Great. Amazing. It was lovely to have someone new participating, being present in, engaging in the conversation. Yeah. She's definitely a very big reader. And hopefully she will come along again. We'll see. I don't know. So in the meantime, I wish you a beautiful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. And see you next week for people on Instagram and on YouTube for chapter 11 on Monday. Have a beautiful weekend. Let's have a little break, reading break, and I'll see you on Monday to read the last chapters of Little Women. Bye bye.